All right, cool, cool.
Hey.
I don't edit it. I don't even know how this works. Hey, good morning, gang.
That's how you do it.
I'm with. Who am
My,
I with? What's your
my
name?
name is Chandler.
Chandler.
I'm Isa.
Right. So, Issa, what's Jesus to you?
Jesus
Mm-hmm.
is my faith was I questioned my faith a lot when I was growing up,
Good girl.
but
Sign of intelligence.
I had a lot of experiences in my
Mm-hmm.
life.
Right. And
A lot of people I loved died,
right.
and I would seek to a higher power, and I didn't know if I should talk to God or if I should just talk out in the open
Right.
for somebody to hear me. But eventually, I, in some crazy way, heard back from God.
Because you were
Or-
praying.
Yeah.
You were connected to God with love's co-creation.
Yeah.
Right? And see, I'm a real stickler on words, right? Because I kind of look at where they came from.
Yeah.
Like, you know what Lord, the word Lord is?
What?
Satan.
Mm.
You know what the word God is in Sumerian? Demon.
Oh, really?
Yes. So these guys use these words to kind of hook you. The only true God there is love. And you have to be in love's spirit. Look at, what was Jesus Christ? Yes, right? Says it right there. And he was, what they called his followers? They called them zealots.
Yeah.
You know what that word goes back to in Sumerian? Means terrorist. Because they were all about love. And the only reason Jesus got nailed to the cross was that he kicked the money changers out of the temple. The others took a cut. you know?
He didn't play into their system.
Right. And when they asked him about Caesar, he said, give Caesar's to Caesar's and give God what's God's. And what that meant was, whatever Caesar's is crap. you know?
Yeah.
Now, money isn't bad. We live in a material world, but the love of money, that is
Scarcity of goods. And
right, right. And that's bull crap.
Yeah. Oh,
Because, in Star Trek, what did they have? The replicator.
that's right. I wish we. Yeah.
We do. It's called a 3D printer.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
They actually have 3D printers that you can send a virus over the internet, not like an electronic, but a chemical, thing of what you want. And that 3D printer, they have biological 3D printers. They're called CRISPR that will make whatever you want.
I've heard of CRISPR's can't place mice.
It slices the DNA like bologna,
Oh, right.
and you can put anything in it, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So I've been around really people my whole friggin' life, starting with the cardinal, right? And I was sent off as a young lad. I had every teacher I ever had was amazing, and amazing in the negative sense too.
Okay.
I had Sister Holy Roller Skate who beat the crap out of me in first grade. That broke my orbit, broke my jaw, and broke my hand.
They were brutal.
Because we were our school was right at the bottom of where the Empire State Building is, and it was in the 50s, and we were every day having to get under our desk. My dad was in the Air Force, and I knew what an atomic bomb. I saw one blow up,
Yeah.
out in the things of Nevada.
Yeah.
And I was like 6. My dad said, "Don't look at it first." Like my shadow was, etched into a stone, and very much like the guys who were turned into salt.
Did you ever meet Robert Oppenheimer?
No, he was gone before.
Okay.
I mean, he was out of the loop.
Yeah.
When I met George Christie,
Okay.
that whole Jew crew at JPL, he was the smartest one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
George Christie?
George Christie,
Okay.
right? And he was, he started everything, but he was always in the background. He taught me that the most interesting, smart, and powerful people are in the background. Don't look at the guy who's in the spotlight.
Sure, of course, yeah. I mean, why would they want to be in the spotlight?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I hit the wrong button here. I have to go back to you guys. Okay. So your little sense of the higher power, the transcendental power, that's really what it is, right? is your connection.
Yep.
And you're not not faith. You're not a dogma-driven girl.
No.
You're a faith-driven girl.
Yeah.
Right. And faith is that connection with your heart, with a higher power. That's faith. And your brain is just a card catalog. The real you is in your heart, not in your brain, right? And the church sold everyone down the river because they like, we're gonna own your soul, and you're gonna do what we want because we can scare the heck out of you, and we're gonna pretend we're giving science their own short shrift, but we're gonna own that too.
Okay.
And so what do you have faith in? What runs your life?
I have faith in my senses, but even that's,
Illusionary.
questionable.
It's illusion. It's
So,
only 0.009% of what the universe
I'll
is.
be completely honest. I'm and she knows, I'm pretty, I'm a pretty confused person. I don't know.
But you have an open
I
mind.
have an open mind, yeah.
Right. And so you're not in a box.
Okay, yeah.
I
just try to see, what's going on. I just want to know what's going on,
So what year in the university are you?
In the my second, I'm finishing
So-
my second
You're,
year.
you're heading towards junior year,
Yes, sir.
right? So now you've been, tapped on the shoulder, right? They kind of know who you are, and you got your little place there,
A little bit.
and you got that choice of like walking into the box or not. And so that's really so you got to make your own way every day in every way. Meaning, just because you make up your mind today to do it, tomorrow you're gonna have to do it. Tomorrow. So here, did you ever see this book? Book of Answers.
I have no.
It's some new age piece of merit, but
Yeah.
you don't believe in the book, you use it as a tool, just like the Bible. Bible, and the other thing, I lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, with a Hasidim, right? So my landlord had a Lubavitch school, and he goes, "You can read Latin and you know Hebrew. You need to be a rabbi."
Oh.
And I said, "Rabbi, I'm Irish, I'm German, and I'm Catholic." He goes, "Well, no one's perfect." And he put me in his. Because I wanted to study Kabbalah, and I knew math.
That's quite rare for them to invite you.
Oh yeah,
They're
oh
very
yeah,
insular.
yes. It was very insular, but they have a good sense of humor too,
Yeah, sure, of course.
so I can make fun. So here, let me do this. I need a tripod. Stay. So this is how you use this book.
Okay.
You think of something. So think of something like you want an answer. What do I need to do for what should be my New Year's resolution? That's good, right? Thing today is New Year's Eve. So I'm going to do this, right? You say stop when you think I should stop.
Stop. Well, that applies perfectly.
Yeah. And that's why this book is good, because instead of believing in this stupid book, you believe in love's power.
Can you do one for her?
Of course. So you got what do you do for the New Year's?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, okay.
Or wait, can I?
Whatever, don't tell me, just think it.
What should I do?
No.
Oh,
Just,
just think it.
that makes it even more. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Take care, just say stop when I should stop. What I mean, let me get it going.
Okay.
Okay?
Stop.
That applies too.
Especially to the question she asked, that's why she's laughing.
Is that perfect?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What is your name, sir? I didn't catch it.
Right there, in big letters.
Ow.
Owl.
Owl, that's it.
Owl. Okay.
So I was an anthropologist for a good 20 years. I went out and hung. I was with tribal people in Brazil, where I was the first white person they ever saw.
Oh, really?
I mean, I dealt with tribal people, but they had "I Love New York" T-shirts on and Air Jordans. That's not quite. But these guys still had the grass skirt,
Wow.
and they had no connection. They knew white people were over there. They kind of knew, but they just felt the energy. They didn't like no one. They didn't have a cell phone.
What year was that?
84 and 88, 84 to 88. And I went to school in Ireland at Trinity.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to go there.
You go there. You going to school?
I
now?
wanted to.
No, forget that. No. How you go there, you don't apply there. They'll never accept you.
Oh.
But, are you going to college now?
Yeah.
Are you a sophomore or junior too?
I'm a freshman.
Oh, freshman. Even better.
Yeah.
What you need to do is go to the people who send you off to Europe to study for a year
Okay.
and say, I want to study at Trinity. And they'll go look for all the things and they'll, oh, look, there's a little niche. She can fit into that. And we'll get some money. And I went to school in Europe for a number of years and never paid a nickel because over there they don't charge, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Where did you go to college?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
You know, I went to Cornell, I went to University in Maryland, College Park, I went
where
to
Mom went.
Duke, I went to Chapel Hill, I went to Trinity, I went to Oxford, I went through all these programs, and then a zillion more colleges when I got hired to be a scholar, where they want to research something. These guys kind of have the books or the kind of little knack, but they just want to stay in their box. But they'll take these people's money and let me go in there and fool around. So I'm not responsible to anybody, but I'm getting a paycheck.
That's not bad.
That's the way you got to be. You need to, both of you, put in your mind for employment. I will never work for anyone where I need them more than they need me.
Yeah.
That's a good position.
Right. And have no qualms about saying, see you later, bye. Because once you get on my little chat last night, we were talking about being a master. And I said, well, I did this and that. And someone said, you're a master. And this other guy says, oh, no, he's just a jack of all trades. And I said, no, once you master one thing, you can master everything. Plus, it's a matter of intent. Right?
Intent and time and effort.
Right.
That's all it is.
That's all it is, right? And everybody who's been really successful, they just didn't give up. They never, everyone, oh, that's stupid, never gonna happen. You know, they never gave up.
Yeah. Thing is, though, in this world, it's easy to give up. Isn't it?
But that's part of the control mechanism.
It is.
Okay. So what's the biggest thing that has affected you in who you are? Like, you know, when you were 3, this happened, or there's so many people who get stuck. And there are other people who have that same kind of catharsis, but instead of getting stuck, they kind of go, and start to get perspective, right? So, you first.
Biggest thing that's affected me? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if I can point to any one thing. Like, my life has just been kind of like a coasting at this point. You know, it's like, which is, yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing. That's what I would like to change.
And then I came into your life.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And life is, you ever see the yin yang symbol? Right? So there's a circle, right?
Yeah.
And the circle is the event horizon when you're born. You know, you come from this to that event horizon. You pop out of your mom, that's the event horizon. And there's a squiggle. That's the path of life, right? One side's black, one side's white. In the black, there's a little dot of white, and in the black, there's a little dot of black, right?
Yeah.
So, in the beginning, everything was dark.
Yeah.
That means love, everything that was love was black. And what is black? When you go to physics, what do they say black is?
Devoid of light.
No.
Sorry.
No, black is the presence of every color there is.
Oh, I thought that was white.
No.
I got mixed up.
That white is what you said.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And so why God said, you know, and then there was the word, logos, right? And the first word he said wasn't like, let there be light, it was love. That was the first word.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
And then, you know, love wanted some fun, wanted some company. You know, instead of being in the dark, which was very nice and comfy and everything, but wanted the bigger picture. Light, what does light do? It shines frequency on stuff so you can see the shadow. It gives the presence of the edge and what it is.
That's how we see everything.
Right, through the shadow. Did you ever read Plato's treatise on the cave?
Parts of
Yes, actually, yeah.
Okay, so what hit you on that one?
It's like there may always be something beyond what we can perceive. You know, we can't always trust our own.
Can never trust, because it's not just that. What it really is, we're popped out and we're in the cave, right? Now there's an opening right behind us that all this light's coming through, and you see the shadow projected on the wall, and you think the shadow's reality.
I think that's all.
You're such a moron, you just don't turn around and go, oh, look, that looks more fun. I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
No, we stay stuck in the cave. That's basically what he's saying, that we're such frigging morons that we can't just turn around and walk into the light.
It's a very resonant tale.
Right.
That applies.
And Plato, he was a great, Plato's very close to plagiarism. And so that was him. But that was one of his better thoughts. And so was platonic love. You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Not exactly. No, I don't.
So what is platonic love?
Isn't that just
I'm
like?
sorry. Just like love without like intimacy.
No. That's when you have the most intimacy,
Really? Okay. Okay.
where you don't let your biology get carried away.
That's a fascinating.
Right,
that's a good
when
way.
you are 1,000% for the other guy. What makes you happy is when they're happy, not getting off.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you exactly.
That's platonic love. And if you want a long-lasting relationship, you have to start there first. That person has to be your friend. You have to like the same stuff. You got to laugh at the same things. You have to enjoy. And that the next step is that what makes you happy is when the other person's happy. Not you. Not you winning the lottery. Not you getting the fancy car. Not you getting the big job. But the other person happy.
That's the most fulfilling thing.
Yep.
Nothing really compares to that, I suppose. Yeah.
So what are you going to do this 2019?
Just mostly studying and working, I suppose. And
No, your assignment is to be awake.
yes, sir.
Wake up.
Wake up.
And you too, girl. Yes,
Oh,
you're more awake than he is.
Wake up more.
Yes, exactly. You can always wake up more.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you're not trying to wake up more, what happens is you go unconscious. And we all do. I mean, that's part of our biology. Right. I mean, a good example is, so I'm a pretty awake guy. I've had pretty amazing experiences, right? So I'm like there. But I can get stuck into patterns. And that's what falling asleep is. You get stuck in patterns. So, and I go to certain necks of the woods. I don't go over there. I just stay over here. Unless I'm living over there, then I stay over there. And a couple of weeks ago, I was going down this road, and I wanted to see some people, so it was in a little bit of a rush. And I passed by the place I had to turn. Well, I could keep going on the road I was. It would take me to the same place. But I was so stuck in my pattern. I turned around, which was a difficult, it was a turn of the, I just kind of turned around in the middle of a turn where somebody could have smashed into me. And I went and turned on that road and got a speeding ticket.
Done that.
I mean, the universe was saying, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. Good, he didn't go there. What is he, what kind of moron is this guy?
Yeah.
And that's being asleep.
Good example of it, sure.
That's, even your Sensei Al Bob is a moron.
Yeah.
You have the sense?
Yes, you do. You have a sensei. You know what that word means?
Not really.
Very simple. Teacher.
Oh.
Nothing like,
Yeah.
and the word guru, what does that mean? Teacher,
Teacher.
right?
Yeah.
They're not like God or anything. They're just your teacher, right? And like your parents. You should always think of your parents as mom and dad. Not like, oh, my father's so amazing, because then you will be disappointed.
I don't think she has that problem.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, that's a wrong one. Speaking for the girl, no, never. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go. And what sign did you say you were?
Oh, my.
Astrological sign.
I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah, don't do it for no, don't.
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, well, that's a good. That's actually good mix.
Is it?
It is. It's and it's one of these things where opposites attract.
Sure, yeah.
And in a lot of ways, see, you're opposite, but you're a lot alike. You have energetics that are because you guys are way more spunked up than the average moron. You know,
I appreciate that.
right? So, and that's what makes you laugh with each other, and you know, otherwise she would kill you,
Yeah.
right? Right,
Pretty
right.
much, yeah.
And you would have stung her already.
I would have.
You know, the thing about Scorpios, I'll give you a little heads up on Scorpio,
Okay.
is that the scorpion's this little bug, right? And they get stepped on all the friggin' time,
Yeah.
right? So they're like kill first, ask questions later, right? Because it's survival kind of thing, right? So almost genetically put in them. Yes, he does. So, but I would have never guessed it unless you told me because you're like an evolved Scorpio.
Oh, really? Is that evolved in what way?
Well, you know that if you keep stinging people, they're just going to really step on you.
Sure.
So you don't do that. And you're kind of the evolved Capricorn because you're coming from your heart rather than wanting to rule the world. You want to rule the world, you know, you would like to rule the world, especially the world kind of like just in your general circuit. But so your little job this year is to let it go. Right? And your job this year is not to throw anyone under the bus.
Okay.
So, we got a bunch of people chatting here.
Oh, really?
Yes, the first one is sharing is caring. Young people, let's see, don't be afraid to experience your Sensei Alpop. He's a new reality.
Yeah. Yeah, we just met him.
Yeah,
Yep.
we literally don't know who he is.
That's great stuff. This is all spontaneous.
Yep. Well, that's what he's about. He's about all the spontaneousness of enlightenment, and then you'll figure out that what happened. I'm enlightened
Have you tried do you practice meditation?
for 60 years.
Is it?
And yes, I've had some pretty, like the guys from India who hover over their pillow, they were my teachers. And that Japanese guy, you said.
Yeah, Shoko Asahara.
And his student, we built a ashram in Putney, Vermont. Built a bath house, tea house, and learned, medicine from that guy. He was one of my.
Yeah, he passed away earlier this summer. I heard he was in that prison for a while.
Yes. And here's a guy who says, "Greetings from Siberia," or no, Serbia.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
Yep.
Do they know we're in Virginia?
Yeah, they kind of know where I'm at. But most of my crew, I don't call them followers or subscribers. It's like, ooh, I call them all my relations,
Yeah. Sure.
right? And my cadre
Okay, yeah.
and their griots.
What
Right.
is Korea?
Griot is a person whose mind is open,
Okay.
who is, you've seen Star Wars movies, right?
Sure, yeah.
And you have the Padawan,
Oh, yeah.
the student when they are, a child.
Yeah.
A child. Then you have adepts, and that's what Anakin was. But he was really sharp. I mean, he was like shown, but he was an adept. He wasn't a griot or a master. So that's why the dark side could,
Oh, okay.
right? And he let his ego. I'm better than anybody. Ooh, boy, don't go there.
I've always heard ego. That's like worse than.
Worst. But that's what this whole our whole what you are in. You're in it. Your body is an avatar. That's a bag of water,
Exactly.
right? And your consciousness is off in some server someplace.
Really. I've heard of that theory. The sort of the satellite.
Right. And that's called the Akashic record. And so when you want to see the Akashic record right here, right now? Okay. So kind of sit in your chair, straighten your back. Okay. Take your glasses off. See, she knows right away. She closed her eyes. So close your eyes and don't cross anything. Don't cross your hands. Don't cross your legs. And just breathe 20% more. Right. And then you got it. You breathe 30% out. And to breathe that way, you have to shut your conscious mind down. You have to shut up that little squirrel in your head. And the only way you can breathe this way is keep your eyes closed and just think totally about your breathing. I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and as I do, you're going to go into a deep, deep, deep state of relaxation. Your conscious mind totally focused on your breath. And you're breathing in the prana, and that's love's co-creation. That's what animates us all, you know? And you see it going into your lungs, and your blood is carrying it across from your heart into your lungs. That high, rich iron blood is carrying the prana. It's current, and it's swirling through your veins like an alternating current generator. And you see that current going into every cell, and you see your mitochondria like little lightning bolts. And your body is getting cleaner and cleaner and healer and closer to love's co-creation. Now you shine that light into your subconscious, which is not a scary place, and it's your sanctuary, it's your library. You walk into the library, to your left is your librarian, see your librarian clearly. Next to your librarian is your animal totem, see your animal totem clearly. And then there's your guardian angel to the left. Your librarian brings you the truth. Your animal totem, you can see truth, you may not understand it. Will tell you a story. That's a griot. When the person tells you a story and you oh, I see what that is. Okay, right? So right in front of you, there's a reading table with a nice light coming from it. There's a nice comfy reading chair. You sit down, your librarian brings you this big frigging book. That's your Akashic record. That's the record of your whole existence, from the beginning to the middle to the end, alpha to the omega. And time isn't linear. It's all bang right there. The big bang is it, right? But we're experiencing it slowed down so we can get something out of it because we have free will. So that's why we've come to this salad bowl, you know? See it clearly. So open up your Akashic record. You see 2 pages. Put your right hand on the right page, your left on that. You lean into it and you empty out all the negative energy in your body, in your consciousness. All that thing that scares you, fears, makes you hate, makes you angry, it all goes in that, right? See it clearly. Then you sit back and that 2 pages becomes a big screen. And then around the screen is 28 little screens. And you can see anything you want, any knowledge, anything. And you'll get a perspective of 28 different degrees, right? Anyway, so you stand up, you stretch, and to the right, you see an open doorway, and there's 9 closed doorways. You go through that doorway, go up over a bridge, that's the bridge of your id, and you go into your superconscious mind, where your sanctuary of where you go, where you want to get a break is the sanctuary. It's like Superman had the place up in the mountains. This is your sanctuary. See it clearly. Then you spend as much time there as you want to get refreshed. You know, just like your computer needs to be fresh, you need to be refreshed, right? Okay. 2, you see this, you feel it, you feel love. God is love. You feel that. You feel love in your heart. You feel that eternal flame. You feel it, right? Don't let it go. See it clearly. Okay, 3, now turn around and you walk over the bridge, you walk into your library, you thank your guides, you then see yourself surrounded by the light of the prana, and then I'm going to say 1, and you're coming back into your avatar, and 1, you're here, and I'm going to snap my fingers when I say 1 again, and you'll be totally here, totally safe, totally refreshed, and 1, and you're back. So you really went there. You kind of did, and then your little squirrel kind of started going, what kind of? Well, I just gave you the primer. You can go do that's meditation. And why you went into it is that's so much like what you do when you pray. That's the world you go into when you pray. That's why you could just go there, because you were praying. You were there with Jesus.
Praying is a form of meditation.
Yeah, it is meditation. They call it a different name. The Catholics the Christians just want to sell it.
There has been a tradition of like Catholic monks who would engage in it and write.
Oh, and that's Thomas Merton. That's why you got to go read him.
Okay.
So why I was talking about my mom being the Adolf Hitler of New York City in the 20s, was she was unbelievably gorgeous. And she knew how to like make things happen. And that's genetically got that in me. And so, you know, she was there during the Depression. Nobody had money, but she worked for really rich people. And so so she's running a nursing school. So all these rich people needed someone to take care of grandma. Now they had a lot of stuff, not too much cash. So she would get all these girls a job, and they would get apartments from the rich guys who owned real estate. And my mom got like a thing that was like where only rich people live, 40 room thing, right on the park. And she would have these dinner parties where all the rich and powerful would come, and she'd be in her cocktail lounge dress that, would cost $600, but because the guy who had the business that made it and he took care of grandma, she had like, so she lived like a billionaire, but was making $23 a month. Right, had all the food she needed. So she had these cocktail parties where the intelligentsia were, and all the powerful were. And there was this guy named Thomas Merton who was Methodist, and Thomas Merton, right? And he fell in love with her, and she was totally like, she was looking for the right guy, and then she was going to hook him, right? But she wasn't going to go for these rich guys. They were like dandies, right? She wanted somebody who she could control and rule over, and they will do what they're telling them to do, right? That was my dad. And it was cute. They were married 78 years. And they got married in their 30s. So, yeah, they died in their hundreds. And that's what love will do for you. Yep. So anyway, this guy's like writing her poetry, and my mom's a real she loves, and it's in our gene pool. John Steinbeck's my second cousin.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, her German side is the Steinbecks.
That's awesome.
So she was always writing and doing and all that. She wasn't a guy, so she didn't get published, but she knew all the publishers. Anyway. So this guy goes, I love you, and writes these poems. Well, that's nice, but I can't even date you, Tommy. You're Methodist. You're not a Catholic. So he goes and becomes Catholic. And in that process, his love for my mother transfers to Jesus. And he was a really smart guy. I mean, really well educated. Really could read Latin and Greek and, all of this stuff. And so he... Mom was, well, okay, but I love Jesus. And so he went in it full bore, and he became the head theologian of the Catholic Church in America and wrote these books that made the Catholic Church, nobody, people didn't read any of the crap that the Catholic Church popped up, but they read his stuff because it was like, wow. And then in the 60s, he tried to bring all the religions together to bring peace on earth like Jesus wanted. And the Catholic Church killed him for it, murdered him in Tibet. He was hanging out with the Dalai Lama before the Chinese kicked him, the old Dalai Lama. And he was staying in a nice hotel that had running water and bathtubs, and they had electric heaters. They didn't have central heating. And in the bathroom, they had, a space heater, but it had a short cord, so it wouldn't just fall in the bathtub and you get electrocuted. Why it's pretty much known that he was murdered was that they found him cooked like a turkey in the bathtub with the electric heater in there. And there was an extension cord to it, meaning they on purpose made the cord for the heater that thing so it wouldn't go into the bathtub. Someone brought the bing!
Wait, so you said Thomas Merton was your father?
No.
Oh.
Was in love with my mother,
and
became so. I'm in like sixth grade, and I'm gotten turned on to Thomas Merton by one of my mentors, and I'm reading this book, and I'm reading his autobiography, and I'm at the table eating my Cheerios, and I'm reading about how he's in love with my mother. I mean, he says her name, and I go, Mom, did you know Thomas Merton? Oh, Tommy, he's just such a... And I was like, you know who Thomas Merton really? Oh, of course, he's really... And he did it because he loved me. I mean, that was my mom. She was a triple Capricorn.
Wow.
So I know Capricorns. My dad was a triple Virgo. You know any Virgos? Yeah, exactly, she does. They're always right.
Yeah.
But they are. Most human beings are right 2% of the time. They're right about 80% of the time. I never argued with my dad. I said, yes, sir, right away, sir. And then did whatever the heck I wanted to do without rubbing it in his face. And that's how you get along. You can't, because when I was in the seminary, they freaking killed. The only reason I'm here today is my godfather was a cardinal. They beat the ever-living everything out of me. And they didn't kill me because the cardinal will get us. But They beat me up. I mean, they tied me to sprinkler pipes and beat me with 2x4s and broke about, a Franciscan priest and his bully boys. Yeah. Yeah, that's the Catholic Church for you. Yeah, pretty brutal. Now, there's some, like, there are other orders that aren't so bad. The Franciscans, Jesuits, forget about it. They're, the Spanish Inquisition, ooh, not good. But there are a whole bunch of others that, I studied with this, when the nun beat me up, I was sent to this group and they didn't wear the collar. Do you know what the collar really is? Back in the old days, they had a spike that went into the back of your neck. So you were in total pain all the friggin' time. And so they kind of changed up just for the white thing. Yeah, right. So, because, those guys had a lot of power, and you know why priests are allegedly not having sex? Because they were having so much that they were getting everyone knocked up, and then the church was having to pay for it. And so they had to have plausible deniability, so they slipped that one in. Just like going to confession. Jesus never had confession. What were he had, marriage, that was his first thing. And that was a party. He's a party boy. He's like, let's have a good time. Fishes and loaves, breaking bread, right? And did you ever see Monty Python's Life of Brian?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Did you ever see that?
No.
You guys need to watch it together. You got to start watching pretty good movies together, because you guys, you're both cinema. You're both like a movie.
Yeah.
You really are. You're not like the average mud puppet.
Thank you.
So go watch some good movies. Anything by, who's the guy who made the movie 2001?
Stanley Kubrick. That's my favorite movie.
Watch every movie he ever made. If you like that
I
one.
think I almost
Have you seen Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
Did you see A Paths of Glory with Kirk Douglas?
I need to see that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you see Lolita?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, that English actor gets just taken to the... And you want to know about existentialism? Watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because here's a guy who's got it down. He's like Mr. Macho, and a little 16-year-old girl like destroys his life
Basically.
because of his ego and his basic stupidity, right?
Exactly.
Do you know what your... I only have 4 teeth in my mouth, so I can't pronounce certain words. But you have a nerve that runs the whole thing of your body. It's like it's like Vegas, your vagus nerve.
Okay.
It's not quite that, but it's your vagus nerve.
I'm not sure.
That's the nerve of where God is talking to you.
Okay.
And you have a thing called your hypothalamus, your pineal gland.
Right.
Pineal gland is the center of everything spiritual. That's where you are connected. Every time you pray, that's the thing that's lighting up. And they brought out fluoride in water to turn that into stone. So you'd only be a materialist mud puppet. Now, what sense is drinking fluoride to fix your teeth? I mean, it just kind of flies by. I could see maybe toothpaste, but not drinking the stuff.
Yeah, I don't know much about that.
Well, you should. Did you ever hear about chemtrails? A little bit. Everything you ever heard, it's 1,000 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
So, bottom line is, everything can be worse. So you might as well have a good
I
time.
don't doubt that.
Yeah, everything's an illusion. So the only thing that really exists, and I'll, for you, use the word God until you get it in your head. The only true God is love.
Yeah.
The only thing that's real is love's co-creation. If you're not there in co-creation, and you can do this, you need to help him do this, because Capricorns have this kind of spiritual thing in them, and that's why they can get pretty scary if they turn into like priests and nuns. Ooh, you don't want to. Yes, you don't want to go there.
I'll try not to.
Don't do it. Just say no. Right. Where Scorpios have a time, because if anything like that, they get scared that they're going to get stepped on. So she can help you embrace that, right? And watch more funny movies, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's been making me watch thrillers all week.
Oh, what
Yeah.
ones?
There's like 7. You heard of that one? Like Brad Pitt.
Those are first. You know what Hollywood is?
It's a bunch of trash.
No, 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 no. Everything black magic, like a magic wand,
Okay.
is made from a holly bush, Hollywood. So that place is a place of illusion and unbelievable darkness, and not good darkness, like where love was going. Oh yeah, this is warm and nice, but evil darkness.
Yeah.
I mean, evil, 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 right? And all those things they're illusions. You know, evil doesn't exist. Good or bad doesn't exist. What you are is like Donald Duck with the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. You know that cartoon, right? Yep. And every second you get to choose.
Yeah.
That's what free will is. Every second you get to choose, right? So we've been taught almost 40 minutes. Lord have mercy, doesn't time fly? I just exercised and showed you this. What is it? If I didn't say look at the clock, you would have said maybe 5 minutes, right? I just showed you that time is irrelevant. It doesn't exist because like I said, if I should have said, how long do you think we've been talking? You would have said, I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
People always say seize the day, and yet we confine ourselves to this rigid structure.
It's exactly it. Thank you, my friend. See, that's why you like him. He says stuff like that. Yes. Okay, let's read what the kids have been saying here.
I'm scared.
Oh, man.
I like that guy.
I like that guy.
And the girl, she's obviously smarter than he is.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue.
Good. See, he's getting smarter.
Yeah, she's helping.
Yep. I think they're right for each other. They just need to go into that platonic love thing first. They're already there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already horny all the time, so.
Okay.
Was Abraham really the voice of God? No, he wasn't. Sorry. He was the voice of Walmart's. How old are those two?
I'm 18.
Yes, they're just the right age. They both shine so brightly.
That's so cute.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. This is my cadre. They are the sweetest. You know. And what's really fun was when I first started this out in October, I had people who came and tried to be trolls, right? Mm-hmm. And the sweeties would go, "Oh, get rid of that guy." And I go, "No, we have to. This guy, we need this guy." Mm-hmm. The other thing, I have no idea what gender or species any of these guys are. You know, because yes, I mean, Black Eden, Ghost, research, web. So they all have names like this, like G.
Internet name.
Yes. But anyway, so this guy came on. His name was Buddy.
Okay.
And he was foul and just terrible, but he had a perspective. If you guys were to mind melt with Spock, that's who Buddy was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really smart, really intuitive, but like just everybody. And we have to get rid of him. He's like breaking, he's a buzzkill. And I said, no, we need this guy. He's the guy we need.
It's good to have contrary.
You got it. And the more I kept saying, and he would say something, but no, we got to kick him out now, right, Sensei? No, read what he said. And then I would read it 15 times to them. And and I take it apart. And I just keep saying, just look at this. You can have the guys. And he was the best tool I had to show my cadre how to forensically take things apart. And that's what you guys got to do. You got to take it apart, not just take it at surface value. So he was the perfect tool, and he was a tool in all aspects. And he embraced it and then got sweeter. And then he became like the sweetest one. But he was still buddy.
I like your moderation policy. That's good.
Right.
A lot of people would just dismiss someone like
I don't dismiss anybody, and that's because there's only 200 of the cadre,
Okay.
and they go, why? There should be, should be 30,000 people. I said, do you want 30,000 people on this chat? No.
It would turn into a mess.
Right. We're going for quality rather than quantity.
That's good.
Exactly.
And 200, that's still.
Yeah.
If you had 200 people in the room.
Yeah, I got about, since October, I got about 20,000 views.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yes, it's good enough. And I'm not doing this to make money because I own nothing. I have, that's one of the beauties of being a homeless guy. I mean,
Where do you sleep?
I'm like Blanche Bouvier in Streetcar Named Desire. I live on the kindness of strangers.
Aw.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It works.
That's nice.
Yeah. And, these guys send me a few dollars. People buy me lunch, give me a Kroger card,
Oh, that's good to hear.
But, I used to make a lot of money. I mean, I could make six figures and only work 11 weeks a year.
Oh, yeah.
But that freaking nearly killed me because I was living in the swimming pool of chocolate mousse. I weighed 270 pounds more than I do now. I was like, I was as big as this table. And I ended up, I was out with these really rich guys. We're at this really super duper fancy restaurant, and I'm telling stories, cracking jokes, and then I end up in a plate of spaghetti. And that was the last thing of me kind of heading for the spaghetti. And then the next thing, I woke up in a hospital and they're about to cut my legs off and crack my chest. And I say, nope, don't want that.
That's too close to decadence right there.
Right. So it took me 5 years to, and I had to lose everything to, get to a place where I'm doing this. Yep. Well, okay, now we're almost an hour, 40. And okay, so that's very interesting. So about an hour and a half ago, I said, oh, it's been 42 minutes. Now it's been 44 minutes. From that point to now, we've only spoke for 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yes, and what day is it? The last day of 2018. That means midnight from here, A, you can be a new person and be that better and better person nanosecond to nanosecond. Just keep picking the angel rather than the devil.
Well, Bob, this has been really fascinating. I kind of have to go see your parents.
I understand. She got the phone call.
But could I pay for that?
I'd love that.
If you haven't
See,
already?
I know I haven't already. See, that's the way it works. See, all of my teachers said, "Well, you can't go." And that'll be 1995. No, but you can take a gratuity.
Sure.
I appreciate
I'll
that.
just do that.
Yeah, buddy.
Can you get me a cookie?
Yes, I haven't had one in a year, so I can have one.
Thank you.
And it's the New Year's. Okay, so let's see. Okay, gang, say goodbye. Say.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Okay, gang. Remember, 7 p.m. tonight, and we'll pretend sometime in the middle. It's New Year's. I'll have paper hats and horns, and we'll be good to go. Okay. Love you guys. Are you sure you want to stop?